we're going to talk about plugins today, and you can go to from the admin dashboard into plugins to go to the plugin management. So by default, depending on how you installed WordPress, if you installed WordPress through your own website, cPanel, something like that, you'll probably see a lot more default plugins already installed. I'm using this sample on Cloud9, so there's only 2 that are currently listed in my plugin. So first of all, what is a plugin? A plugin is something that creates new functionality for your WordPress site, and this is where it really allows you to customize what your site is. There's some really awesome plugins out there that can do some amazing things. There's plugins for things such as turning your WordPress site into an e-commerce site. That's WooCommerce. That's a very popular plugin, and that's a large plugin. So then there are some plugins that are relatively small and might just be something like a contact me form. You can find out what types of plugins are available for you from the WordPress.org site by selecting plugins from the navigation menu, and it will tell you as of April 20th, 2018, there are over 55,000 plugins. A lot of them could be something pretty similar. Like if I put in like a contact form and I search for contact form, you will see that I have many options. There's over 256 pages of plugins for content forms. So by default, they're probably going to be putting these in order with what has the most active installations. You see here this contact form 7 has over 5 million active installations. It also lets you know that it's tested with the latest version of WordPress, which happens to be what we're running. Another good option is the WP forms. So in addition to seeing the list of plugins, you can get some extra information about those plugins by clicking on the name of the plugin. Similar to how you have with themes, you can get some basic information. When was it last updated? How many active installations are there of this particular plugin? What is the version you must have in order for this plugin to work? Etc., etc. Gives you some basic information. Now again, every single page for a plugin is different, and will give you some of them give you lots of content like this one with lots of extra information and documentation, and others are more just like a paragraph. Go see our website. You can see the ratings. So this obviously has some really amazing ratings on this particular plugin, and you can look at the reviews. You can look at installation notes, some support, their support forum for this particular item, and looks like we've kind of lost our navigation, so I'm going to go back, and then the development, so different changes that have been made. You can also download it, and a lot of times they have a website that you can go to for information as well. Okay, so right here tells you by WP Forms. So they do have a website, and a lot of times I like to go to these websites because I can get a lot more information, and in many cases you might be able to kind of get a demo and see how it works and things like that. If not a demo, they've got this nice video, kind of shows you what it's like, and you can get a feel for it without having to necessarily install it and go from there. So when you're looking at the plugins, I mean, you could probably be here looking at the contact form plugins for days, but if you want to use one that everyone else is using, then definitely look at the ones that have a lot of reviews and a lot of good ratings. And it all depends on what you need for your particular site. So be careful. I mean, go out there and take a look at the different options, and note that some plugins are completely free. Some plugins will require you to kind of create a license in order to use them. And you might just have to, they might have a free option, but you still have to kind of register and give them your information and still select the free limited version of their plugin. So take a look at different options. A lot of times people like to have like image galleries, so there's lots of good plugins for that, and this will probably give you many more options here. Let's see, what do we have here? 174 pages, but people are going to, there isn't necessarily going to be just like two that stand out as like the best. And this one definitely has a lot, so you can take a look, but what what do you want your image gallery to look like? There's so many different ways that you might want your images represented, so it's worthwhile to take a look and see what these things are like, and whether it will work well with your site or not. Okay, so once you find a plugin that you like, you can come back to your plugins page and you can go to add new. So let's say I want to put that WP Forms one in. Here it is. I can click install now, and then I can activate it. So just like your themes, you need to install and then activate, and then depending on your plugin, it might create a new option in your menu, or it might be something that you can customize directly from the plugins page. So here's a nice some nice documentation on how to get started, how to create your first form, different features. And so here we go, upgrade to pro. So you're going to see this with a lot of your plugins. They're going to give you a free version, but they're going to say, hey, we'll give you all these extra features if you upgrade, and they'll probably remind you to upgrade frequently. Okay, so let's say I just want to do, I've never used this plugin, so just like you, I would need to kind of walk through here. This is my simple contact form. Do I like it? Do I want to add options? All right here. So let's say I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, I like exactly how it is. Click save. And then I need to figure out where I'm going to add this. So see, now I have a new navigation that says WP Forms, and here's my simple contact form, and then what I want to do with this. So I'm going to need to read the documentation on this particular plugin and see how to actually put that into my website, and obviously I don't have time to do that while I'm making this video, but I just want to give you an overview of how to work with the plugins. And if you decide that you don't like the plugin you've just installed, go ahead and deactivate it, and then also delete it from your site. So you don't want to keep a bunch of plugins installed on your site that you're not using, because they can get outdated. They could end up becoming security risks down the line. So you want to try and keep your web server as free of code that you're not using as possible. And that applies the same thing with themes as well. Okay, so have some fun looking for some plugins. This is our sandbox that we're playing with, so I would say, pull some in, see what you like. There's lots of really cool things. Try and find ones that meet what your purpose of your site is. Okay, great. Thanks. Bye.